welfare is a really complicated area here, and people can focus on what has not happened so well in the past, and we can react and be reacting at what happened previously, and previous way things were done here, and just focus on some of the immediate issues that families and children are experiencing, and those crises that people get caught up in here, and to be reacting to those. Sometimes unless we can be replicating kind of the ways that maybe we've been trained through going through university and getting degrees, and the way funding systems have been set up and policy systems have been set up in the past, that we just replicate those ways because that's the way we've done it before, according to the existing framework. But we have an opportunity to create a new framework here that's based on carrier values and Sekani practices here. What does this mean? How is that different going forward? And by identifying those key values, those principles, and building upon those, that's going to set us in a direction for going in a different place altogether than if we're just going to try and adapt the existing model here. And I think that's really where we want to go, is to try and really strengthen and rebuild families and communities, give young children a good sense of who they're going to be as adults and as eventually as elders and caregivers. They're that next generation. We need to think of child welfare. We can't lose sight of the kids who are existing, who are in care here. They need to know where they're going next week. They need to have plans in place for school. They need to know as predictable a lifestyle as they're going to have over the next while here. And they need to know that the adults, the caregivers who are looking after them, are really looking after their interests, which include their cultural interests, which include their aspirations for their future, and that their education, they're going to have as many options open to them as possible. That we have to keep those responsibilities, that sacred responsibility of those children who have been are in child welfare care. We also have to be thinking about the families and the young families that are the stressors that they're facing, and what kind of supports do they need to be able to do things in a better way. They may not have learned parenting skills in the same way. They might not have access to the same resources or employment opportunities, but to reduce the kind of stressors that they're having so that they're able to raise their kids, that they're able to engage with their kids in healthier kind of ways. We need also to work with our leadership here, and by that I mean we have to work on developing our young people and our leaders so that we're able to, that they're ready to accept the responsibilities, these heavy responsibilities that come with making decisions for their own selves as members of a citizen, as a citizen of a carrier citizen here, as their responsibility to other people, their family members, their extended family members, to visitors to this territory here, and those values that they've kind of learned through, that are respected in the traditions and the ceremonies that are in place here, so that everyone understands those roles here without getting so caught up in the existing INAC funding models or provincial
because it's complex,
legislation.
It's distracting in many ways.
It can be, and people have been trained to think about just responding to when the paperwork needs to be filed, or when this thing has to be done, or what the other opportunity might be coming down the future. And they've got a lot of heavy responsibilities they're thinking of, about plans for economic development and things like that. As individuals, what do I do? What's best for my community? But not losing sight of the sacred responsibility that we have for the young people and for the young families, and for praying forward for those ones who are still yet to be born. That those ones we're still hoping for, those ones who haven't been conceived yet, and those prayers, that good energy that we're trying to put out for them, so that the world they're going to be born into, they know that the older people, the next generations, will be in place to be looking after them and caring for them.